Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dal, and later today we take our first step towards the next chapter of World of Warcraft with the launch of the Dragonflight pre-patch. This pre-expansion update comes with new features, content, and a ton of class changes, as many playstyles gain new gameplay opportunities, improvements, and adjustments, together with the revamped in-depth talent tree system. If you plan on returning during pre-patch, it's often advised to take your time looking at and exploring the new talent tree options, experiment with new abilities, and come up with creative new builds as you get to re-explore your favorite class all over again. This update contains an overwhelming amount of class changes, so in today's video, I wanted to go over all of our classes, highlight some of the biggest improvements and gameplay alterations you will experience in the Dragonflight pre-patch. But right before that, most of you guys watching these videos are still not subscribed. However, the more of you remind, the more of you do. So let's keep it going. Subscribe to the channel as well as hit the bell if you're watching these videos anyway, especially if you're looking to get regular class and content updates for all the future and upcoming Dragonflight pre-patch and beta builds. I'm gonna go over these classes in an alphabetical order, starting with the class of Death Knight. Death Knights are consolidating the utility of all three specs into their class talents, getting access to Blinding Sleet for improved control, an empowered rune weapon for resource generation from the Frost side, Will of Necropolis defensive from Blood, and Execute potential from Unholy. The Abomination Limb carries over into the Capstone talent slot, making you practically inescapable. Death Knights maintain a resistance to magic damage and are able to share those benefits with their party. Blood Death Knights can strengthen defensive cooldowns like Vampiric Blood, and augment defensive abilities to provide bonus offensive value. Frost can enhance their melee output with frost damage, and weave them together in different combat situations, modify the interaction between your combat abilities, and augment the functionality of Pillar of Frost. The talent choices for Unholy are extremely flavorful, as you tap into the diseases to weather your foes over time. Enhance the output of your Unholy Scourge army while spreading plagues for increased AoE output. Demon Hunter specs share their knowledge to become more deadly, modifying Metamorphosis with more frequent uses, gaining enhanced control with Chaos Nova Groupstones and Sigil of Misery Fear, and Darkness becomes available for both playstyles to shield their allies from danger. Havoc can specialize into crit damage with Know Your Enemy, turning critical strike chance into a powerful damage enhancement, and Master the Elements by any means necessary, turning simple spells into chaos damage, which gets modified with the Mastery stat. Throwglaive Legion playstyle returns in Dragonflight, which adds more impact to an often underused combat ability. Vengeance can shatter enemies' souls, reducing your foe's combat effectiveness, augment their defensive capabilities, and passively gains a portion of their overall armor outside of Demon Spikes, which helps increase the overall passive survivability. The class of Druid gains more hybrid tools out of any other class, capable of becoming a functional Feral Druid even if that's not your primary spec, as well as assist their allies in group content. Druids also have gained a raid buff of Mark of the Wild, which enhances group versatility by 3%. Balanced Druid saw a lot of gameplay improvements, like being able to shift into any eclipse as often as you want to instead of following a specific nature and lunar flow. Multiple uses of Starfall can now overlap one another, which helps increase your overall AoE consistency. Balanced Druid Mastery has also been adjusted, where Moonfire causes a weakness to arcane damage and Sunfire causes a weakness to nature. Astral damage is both arcane and nature and double dips into these benefits. Balanced Druids regain wild mushrooms, summon friendly fairy dragons to aid them in combat, and can recover combat resources instantly. They can even drop full moons upon their foes with damage over time effects. Feral Druids have gained many quality of life changes in Dragonflight, like upgrades to resource generation to smooth out your overall gameplay, a sizable upgrade to their AoE damage output, and even more support for bleeds, making sure they don't fall behind their bites. Guardian Druid embraces the arcane and becomes a Moonfire Bear, which helps increase your overall survivability and damage output. You can also reduce the cooldown of Incarnation with frequent rage spending. Restoration Druid can augment the value of their healing over time effects, share with allies mana conservation properties, and can weave offensive damage to the healing elements. Hunters can adapt to a variety of combat encounters, increasing their survivability through survival of the fittest, which becomes a talent option without the need of specific pets, and control the foes with pet intimidation stun, as well as binding shot, disorient foes with scatter shot, immobilize foes with tar trap, and scatter enemies back with explosive trap. See through walls with a scouting sentinel owl, sharing the knowledge of the target's location with your party. Specialize into serpent venoms, explosive arrows, arctic bolas, and pet enhancements to empower your gameplay in a variety of ways. Beast Mastery Hunter can foster their pets into a deadly weapon capable of tearing any target to shreds, and can call upon nearby wildlife to battle, becoming the true master of the beasts. Range Hunters also gain access to Wailing Arrow, which silences all foes in an area with a Banshee Shriek. Marksmen can abandon their pets to increase the overall output, but with so many class talents that support pet gameplay, there may be some situations where having a wild companion could prove more advantageous. Marksman's aim can become more deadly with heavy investment into critical strike talent synergy, and can modify their shots with bonus effects for better damage output. Survival sees more support towards a range-based gameplay. It might not be enough to bring back the old school survival range hunter, but it does give them more options when it comes to handling combat encounters through hybrid capabilities. Survival can become one with their pet, relentlessly hunting the foes into extinction, and augment their abilities for enhanced functionality. Mages pull their arcane knowledge together, gaining access to an incredible array of control-oriented spells. Anything from Dragon's Breath Disorient, roots from Cone of Cold and Ice Nova, AoE slows, Blast Wave for knockback, even polymorphing multiple foes at once. Together with mobility tools like Displacement, defensives of greater invisibility, and cooldown reduction of shifting power. Arcane power gets replaced with Arcane Surge, draining the mage of all mana, but eradicating all foes before you. A multitude ways to help enhance Arcane Barrage output, Arcane Orb enhancements for better AoE and cleave capabilities, and talents that enhance your devastating arcane power. In Dragonflight, fire mages can stack multiple talent options to greatly empower single abilities like Pyroblast, and enhance their ability to send wildfire spreading through entire groups of enemies. Frost mages can now fully control the ability of Flurry with Spell Shatter mechanic, giving Frost mages more agency over which abilities benefit from damage increases. Frost can reduce the cooldown of Icy Mains more consistently, empower the output of Frostbolts, Blizzard, and instant cast damage of Ice Lances. The class of Monk opens itself up for more hybrid capabilities, where Mistweavers gain access to interrupts and damage-focused options. Windwalkers can focus on self-preservation, which could save them in PvP encounters. And Brewmasters can specialize in group utility, bringing in party buffs that benefit their allies. Monks also gain access to a new statue of the White Tiger, which pulses damage to nearby enemies for 30 seconds. Brewmasters can stagger damage taken more effectively, increase their martial capabilities in combat, and engulf their foes in fiery brew mixture for increased damage output. Mistweavers gain support towards two playstyles. A ranged healer focused on keeping your group alive with refreshing mist and channeled healing. The other, a fist-weaving melee healing playstyle, where all combat capabilities are bolstered and all damage dealt helps heal a nearby ally. Windwalker monks can empower their strikes with lightning from Strike of the Windlord Legion ability, enhance the lethality of blackout kicks, and increase the power of their Zuan Celestial. The class of Paladin is blessed with seals that help enhance their damage, healing, and survivability, seek justice when allies fall to harm, and bring the party back from the dead with a new combat resurrection spell. Holy Paladins can interrupt spells with Rebuke, which helps them take initiative and contribute in group scenarios. Holy saw a lot of support for caster-oriented builds, which prioritize healing and safety of allies above all, but can also pivot into a familiar melee healing playstyle, bringing justice to the foes more directly. Protection gained a lot of passive mitigation tools which bump up your tankiness at all times, instead of constantly relying on rotating cooldowns. Avenger's Shield not only generates holy power, but can be amplified with various talents that increase its defensive and offensive capabilities. We also see return of familiar options that help mitigate damage and increase damage output. Retribution can modify their defensives, opting for a Shield of Vengeance Absorb or Divine Protection damage reduction to help them mitigate damage more consistently. A lot more support for consecration focused builds, increasing the holy ground effectiveness, and gaining access to several powerful talent options simultaneously, which helps them be more versatile in various combat encounters. The class of Priest expands their knowledge of holy and shadow magic, getting access to healing tools and offensive damage options, increasing the movement, reducing impairment effects, and entangling the foes in place. All priests can specialize to rescue their allies from danger, protect themselves from harm, redistribute health with nearby allies, and attack the mind of your foes. Discipline priests are masters of weaving shadow and holy together, as two sides help enhance one another, summoning fiends to claw at your foes while embracing the shadow, enhancing your damage properties together with atonement healing, or embrace the light's wrath to smite darkness away from your allies. Holy is capable of stabilizing friends and party members from certain death with powerful single-target healing talent options. While Holy is primarily a healing spec, it's capable of scorching away its foes with Holy Fire instantly, which helps contribute to group damage and endgame content. Shadowpriest can embrace the Void, mimicking the playstyle from the expansion of Legion, with an attempt to prolong the empowered uptime. But Shadowpriest could also revert back to pre-Legion versions, empowering instant cast damage of Mind Blast, Shadow Ward Death, and Mind Spike. Priests can choose to focus on damage over time effectiveness or enhancing their instantaneous damage output. Shadow Priests also are able to pledge themselves to old gods, summoning monstrosities from Dark Beyond, empowering their fiends, spawning corrupting tentacles, and causing void explosions. The class of Rogue learns new tricks of the trade in Dragonflight, starting with a Traffic Poison, which weakens all foes in dungeons and raids and gives rogues more group utility benefits. Rogues can step into the shadows during combat, enhancing their control capabilities, replenish their energy, and create windows of damage opportunity. Assassination rogues are masters of poisons and bleeds, capable of ripping through multiple foes at once while draining their targets over time. Market a single foe for death to help duplicate their deadly strikes and concoctions. Our rogues can embrace the shadows, incorporating ambush as part of the rotation, take control over the Dice of Fate and its combat enhancements, and upgrade their flintlock pistol shots. Subtlety becomes the master of Shadow Dance, weaving abilities together into incredibly powerful combinations, converting all poisons and bleeds into shadow damage for enhanced capabilities, and becomes the master of escapes in PvP fights. Shaman class tree is one of my favorites in Dragonflight, as you get access to knockbacks and lasso stuns, increasing your control capabilities, totems to protect allies, regenerate mana, dispel poisons, immobilize foes, and prevent casting interrupts, as well as ways to control the position of your totems and even reset their cooldown. You also get a choice between Spirit Walk Sprint and Gust of Wind Leap, which has to be one of my favorite abilities brought back from the expansion of Legion. Elemental Shamans can supercharge their lightning spells with multiple layers of Stormkeeper and cooldown reduction benefits, or become the Herald of Fire, ascending to godhood with flame shocks and lava bursts, and weave talents together to create powerful elemental combinations. Enhancement Shamans bolster the elements, gaining access to cleave and range damage capabilities. Summon Feral Spirits can empower your effectiveness against large groups of enemies or enhance the impact of your elemental output. And Crashing Storms can help you improve on your cleave capabilities. Restoration gains access to Earth Living Weapon Enchant to help enhance their healing passively, and help reduce the cooldown of beneficial totems, while gaining more hybrid damage capabilities to be more effective in group content. Warlocks become a bulwark of all casters, gaining access to powerful defensive tools to help them survive the cataclysm itself, enhancing defensives and mobility with abilities like Soulburn, while strengthening the value of debilitating curses. Affliction Warlocks can harness the shadows, infecting foes with extreme damage over time ailments, ramping up the effectiveness of the damage over time effects, and empowering their demon Darkglare with large group cleave capabilities. Demonology Warlocks can summon hordes of imps, fellhounds, and wraiths to their side, empowering the Felguard into a demonic vanguard who rips your foes to shreds, enhancing the demonic tyrant to become more effective, even calling upon a pit lord from the twisting nether. Destruction is capable of mastering the chaos at its fingertips, enhancing the wildfires as it spread to your victims, and ripping portals through space and time to harness the energies beyond your understanding. The class of warrior regains stances for all three playstyles, featuring a berserker stance for fury, battle stance for arms, and defensive stance for prot. All three playstyles can utilize more than one stance to enhance them in combat. Warriors can shed all debuffs instantly, regenerating their health in the process, and help break their allies from incapacitations, shockwave all enemies that stand in your way, and spear them in place for greater control. Transform into a powerful colossus with avatar, gaining predictable combat bonuses, or roar down your foes, causing them to bleed with just the power of your shout. Arms warriors can sharpen their blades, making precise cuts and exploit your enemy's weakness. Trade cooldown for certain abilities for a much greater overall output, and enhance the killing potential with explosive execute finishers. Fury warriors embrace the berserker playstyle, honing their aggression to become more effective in combat. Call upon the might of Odin to grant you his blessings, and enhance your auto attacks with the Annihilator playstyle. Protection warriors become a lot more sturdy in Dragonflight, capable of withstanding serious injury with ease, gaining extra defensives against piercing magic damage, which is one of their biggest weaknesses, capable of charging forth to meet the enemy head-on as the fearless leader of their party. And for now, that's going to be the highlight of all of the major class changes arriving today with the Dragonflight pre-patch update. I want to thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. Have you decided yet which class you're going to main for Dragonflight? Or are you waiting for the arrival of the Evoker so that you can explore all of your available options? Are you going to focus on one single class in Dragonflight, or are you looking to walk into this expansion playing multiple alts? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. As per usual, if you guys enjoyed this video or found it informative, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would very much appreciate it. And as always, in the description of every single live stream and video, we have a link to our Discord community channel. Probably the best place to reach out to me directly in case you want to let me know what you thought about this video, or discuss with the other members of the community what you think about the upcoming changes. Join our Discord to become part of the community. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts, and as always, I'll see all of you guys in another video.